Hi, this is Derek Tsai from LearnByBlogging.com. Today I will be reviewing this book called Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. Angela Duckworth is the author of this book. I listened to the audiobook a couple months ago. It was so good to know that scientifically that the efforts and the grits play a big role in the person's success than talents. In the book, I'm kind of aware of that, kind of have my own theory, but it's good to know that it's been put to a science. And in this book, Angela Duckworth showed that through research, observation, convincing evidence that the right approaches to raising kids is to raise their grits. And I think I concluded a long time ago, like I said, the effort play a much bigger factor than talent. But it's definitely easier when you got talents and being modest about it by applying the extra effort to be successful. The book started out showing you that what grit is and why it matters. Then the author show you how to grow grits from the inside out from the inside out and through interest, through practice, through purpose and hope. And next that she will show you how to grow grit from outside in via parenting for grit, playing the right playing field and the culture. This is a very informative book for those who want to succeed and want their loved one to succeed in life. A short summary here. There are three parts to the book. One is define what grit is and why it matters. And then the second part is how to grow the grit from inside out. And then part 3 is how to grow the grit from outside in. By author definition, to possess grit is to have two characteristics. Number one is unusually resilient and hardworking. That means perseverance. Number 2 is know in a deep way that what they wanted. That is the passion. The author chose examples, the West Point cadets training and their success rate, passing through the training or the pre-screening, and then spelling bee contest, the contestants, and her growing up and career choices, and the management consultant. In her case, she started out as a management consultant, become an inner city middle high school teacher, then finally become a psychology researcher. So can talents be distracting? Yes, because it becomes too easy for the people who have talent in a certain area. The author came up with the equation. Talent times effort equals skill. And then skill times effort equals to achievement. This means if you put an equation together, it means that if talent times effort to the square power equals achievement. So the effort play a bigger role because of the square function. So you might want to try the treadmill test. There's a example that she gave. So how to grow more grit? It takes both a natural, a gene, and a nurture experience. The Flynn effect that she quoted explained why as a species we are getting better in abstract reasoning, and all of us are getting smarter, higher IQ due to our social influences. To grow grit, you need to first have an interest, then practice, have a purpose, and finally have hope. More on that in part 2. And that part 2 is about growing the grit from the inside out. For 3 parts, and the part 2 is 4 parts is interest, practice, purpose, and hope. In the case of interest, passion for your work is a little bit of a discovery, followed by a lot of development, then a lifetime of deepening. Interests are not discovered through introspection, but are triggered by interaction with the outside world, supported and encouraged by your loved ones like teachers or peers. So sample your interest first like an athlete. As athlete before they focus on one or two interests. Make sure you sample a few of them. And the author cited several stories, including those of Jeff Bezos' upbringing. He was born to a teenager mother, and the teenager mother allowed him to experiment and do so many different things as a child. Well, and also Will Shortz, the crossword puzzle master, he started out very well encouraged by his mother, and constantly playing with the crossword puzzle. So follow your passion, but it's helpful to understand how passions are fostered and keep on experimenting. That is the word. Practice, continuous improvement or Kaizen is a key to practice. Look forward, make sure you look forward and grow. The average about 10,000 hours over 10 years seems to be the norm to be a world expert. It takes a deliberate practice, not just practice, a deliberate practice according to the Erickson's research. Number one, how do you do that is to set a stretch goal. Number two, full concentration and effort. Number three, immediate informative feedback. Number four is repetition with reflection and refinement. So if you want to be getting good at certain things, these are the 4 steps, a 4 process you need to go through. And to get to the flow experience is about performance. During the performance, you must have sufficient deliberate practices, behavior in preparation. So practice is more of a behavior, the flow is an experience once you have the practice or have the preparation. Number 2 is purpose. Have a purpose. Define as intention to contribute to the well-being of the other. The more greedy you are, the more purpose-driven and less pleasure-driver you are. If you have a job, do you have a job, a career, or a calling? So if you can structure your job that way, more of a calling will make have more purpose to your job. The example she gave is they asked a bricklayer, "What is your job?" And the one person say, "Oh, I'm a bricklayer," and the second person say, "I'm building the house of church. I'm building a church." And number 3 says that I'm building the house of God. So the third one has more of a calling than the first one, of course. But to do that, to find your calling, is to keep asking yourself, why? It suggests that you reflect on how the work you are doing, and then do a job crafting. Make a positive, to reflect on how your work is being already doing and make a positive contribution to the society. So do some job crafting, thinking how in a very small, meaningful way your current work enhance its connection to your core value. And lastly, find inspiration in a purposeful role model. In the author's case, her mother was her model. The next topic is hope. Take a chapter from Carol Dweck's mindset book, which I reviewed before. Learn the growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Have a feeling of control and hope in spite of difficulty at young age could help you develop grit. And need to learn how to succeed as well as how to fail. So there are a lot of people who doesn't know how to fail, and becomes hopeless, and they they don't have a very good life after that. So she recommends the growth mindset from the growth mindset to optimistic self-talk, and then to perseverance over adversity. Of course, having someone to encourage you along the way goes a long way. Number 3 is part 3 is growing the grit from outside in. She talked about parenting for grit. Ex-49er Steve Young's upbringing provides a great example. Her father is named Grit Young, or nickname Grit Young. Taught him not to give up too easily in making the baseball and football team. endure to the end. That is his father's motto, according to him. So be the wise parent, demanding and supportive. Commit to hard things rule, and that's what she practiced in her home. Her home is to pick up one hard things or two hard things and try to do your best, and you can change along the way if you choose. And that's what train your children to have more grit. And then develop a culture of grit. A Seattle Seahawks head coach like Peter Carroll builds a culture of grit, allowed the Seahawks team to be one of the best right now in the past few years in the NFL. So there are more. If you look at my my blog, there are a lot of more other TED Talks that she gave. But overall, it was a very exciting, very interesting book for me, and I really enjoy reading this book. Highly recommend it. And that's all I have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye now.